I coach women. I have one particular thing that I tell the women that I coach is to tell me more technique, right? So
What?
say say Casey unmutes and says, Mr. Let Go, you're a narcissist, right? Instead of being like, listen here, you I'm be like, oh, well, tell me more. Why you think that? Right? So now that is a perfect example of how to de-escalate a situation. Because the reason why Casey or anybody else would say something like that is because most likely they want to feel heard. They felt disrespected. You jumped them in a line or whatever, whatever. They're like, you little bitch, whatever. They just want to be heard. So to go back and forth with them isn't what they actually want. So to turn around and say, oh, so wait, what's wrong? And they'll tell you, you jumped in line. You stepped on my foot. You look at me like I'm crazy. And then you say, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't think about it. But turn around and say, who you fucking talking to? Now you have a problem. So I just wanted to give you a solution and not to go off topic because you
Okay.
asked for it.
All right, y'all, hold on. We got to get other people involved. So let's, because they're sitting around patiently waiting. If you look at their faces, you can see that they're ready to go ahead and get back on topic. So let's make sure we go ahead and get this round. Go ahead, Cloud.
All right. I think what Let Go was referring to just now was like, or what Nika, I think it is, was referring to is like that feeling of rebellion. And I think to explain that to Let Go, I think women get that when they don't, when there's a lack of respect or when there's doubt, right? So if you're in a leadership position and you're not doing something clear and she's doubting it, now I think a lot of times women have that impulse to just interject and it comes off as disrespectful. But I think the response really depends on how the man reacts to it. So, like right now, we're talking about whether women should speak to a man as a king or not. And I would say, conversely, it's really what's really more important is what you accept. So, what kind of talk do you as a man accept? Because how she talks to you doesn't matter because she can't talk to you a way that you don't accept. Like me personally, if I'm dating someone, if they say something disrespectful to me, I'm checking it immediately. If it happens again, I'm cutting them off. Like I have no problem cutting you off if you don't talk to me in a way that I like to be talked to. So all of the women in my life that I know, none of them talk to me disrespectfully. I'm not gonna say they're talking to me like a king per se, but when you're not being talked to disrespectful, that's how you're gonna feel. You're gonna feel like a king because you're being spoken to the way that you want to be spoken to with respect. So I think it's just a matter of like, yes, it's important for women to speak to you with a certain level of respect, absolutely. But I think that's naturally gonna happen if you don't tolerate anything less. Like you're not gonna talk to me crazy. You're gonna talk to me nice. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, if not, I will hang up the phone on you and you'll be talking to yourself regardless.
What?
So there's only one way to talk to me, and that's the right way. So
At the right way. Go ahead, Casey.
The answer is yes. I've been guilty at a younger age, even though I felt just in being mad in a situation um, of even like nitpicking about even sometimes even things don't even need to be discussed. Like if there's a disagreement and you might even feel like, man, I felt disregarded in that situation. Everything doesn't need to be discussed and ran through and over with a rake. It doesn't. Sometimes you need to step back and see how the situation got to that point before you feel that it needs to be a discussion to even get to the point where you feeling like you should be talking to your man as a king. In a relationship, some things just become trivial, right? And when women just start going off, whether it's in a respectable manner or not, it it's falling on deaf ears because everything doesn't need to be addressed. Now, if it's something that needs to be addressed, there's a way you need to talk to your man, your husband, your boyfriend. There is a way and an etiquette and a protocol that should be self-regulated. And even if you feel that he's in the wrong, I mean, and I had to learn this from my mother, and it also came with wisdom and age in my relationship. Like that silence, when you grow up and you really have some wisdom about you in your womanhood and your relationship, that silence will get you together. right? Because you go into your head and you're like, wait, how did we get here? Right? Like, what part did I play in this? And okay, I shouldn't have said that. It wasn't the right time for me to say it. It was the wrong place for me to say it. Like, we just finished date night and I didn't like the way he said something at the table. So as soon as we get in the car, as a woman, you're going to bring it up. And you just had a wonderful night. Let it go. As women, we feel everything needs to be called to the carpet. It needs to be addressed. And that it's really like it weighs a relationship down. And men be like, what did I do now? What's going
Casey,
on?
why you think women are like that? What is the
I think it's in our, I think we're very detail oriented, and a lot of things, like, we want everything to be perfect. Like, we are always like in the choreography of a relationship, all the steps. Like, we're always thinking about how we want everything to go, and we're planners and we're organizers, and we think and we fantasize about how we think things should be and how they should go. That is that control that has to be let go, right? that is
Thank
that
you
is
for saying
that
that
is
part.
a strength. That is a strength that we have, but it has to be regulated and put to use in the right way in your relationship and in your marriage, and not put in the way where you become to have friction with your husband or your partner, where they're trying to lead, but you like, oh, I think it's a better way to do it. Oh, I think, well, why you think that? It's just, as always, this challenging nature. As a woman, it is great to be a planner and an organizer. Those things need to be put to use towards your family, and not to challenge your husband, and not to challenge every move that you guys are trying to make, and also not to be challenging every single day. That friction, no one wants that every single day. So I think you really realize, like, just with gaining wisdom, that women's silence is it's our biggest prized possession.
Thank you.
It is our biggest prized possession. And when it comes to being I'm a de-escalator, right? Because at the end of the day, I'm married to a Black man. I'm not getting into no argument with my husband out in public. I'm not gassing no argument with anybody when it comes to him. Marcus know my husband. I'm not doing nothing. I am self-regulating. I'm the de-escalator. I'm gonna keep my husband calm. I'm gonna dead a situation. I'm going to keep it calm, because my husband is a protector, and his head is always on a swivel. And I would never be that mouth. Oh, can you believe that? That doesn't do anything for any man, especially not a Black man in America. So you have to be that helpmate in every sense of the word, every sense of the term. You have to be that self-regulator. But that silence,
It's
most
beautiful.
men who are loving and passionate, if they did something wrong, I truly feel God convicts them in their wrongdoing, right? So even if you felt that I was right, they were wrong, you may even be right in your feelings and your emotion of how you may have felt, disrespected or whatever. But that silence, you don't need to go crying. Whoa, why you that silence and walking away from the situation and go and take care of your business as a woman and as a wife, that husband will come back around and say, you know what, babe,
You were right.
I thought about that situation, and you know what, I could have handled that a little bit differently. And
Oh,
you know what you do in that situation, babe, I really appreciate that. Like, if we talk about, now is the good time to talk about it. Not starting an argument in the car at a situation, but now is that good time when y'all both have a listening ear. The situation is calmed down. Now you can express your feelings in that king talk. Like, this is, babe, like, this is how I feel about this. I really expected this to go this way. I know you probably didn't mean it that way. And I also see that I, as your wife or as your woman, could have played this a little bit differently. I didn't like where it went, but let's be different about, if that situation arises again, let's be different and let's be better about how we deal with it. And then you move on.
yeah.
Having peace in your house is everything. Not having to look for a vacation or The people that sit in the car when they drive home from work because they don't want to go in the house because there ain't no peace. You don't like the other person you live with. That is cultivated, y'all. That takes consideration. That takes love. That takes patience. And I may be on my high, my patience tank may be 100% on that day, and my husband's may be 10. As a wife, I gotta realize it may be I could probably maybe work took that other 90%. I need to not drain the other 10% out of him and escalate the situation. Do y'all understand what I'm saying?
Mhm.
When you in your home, peace, love, and patience should be the number one goal. And I don't care how you get to that solution, you need to fill in the gaps however you need to fill them in.